Hello everyone, thank you for cheering me up after the last video. I'm very much appreciate. And today I would like to speak about how to feel the feelings. 2 weeks ago I posted a video about me going through a very deep process of feeling loneliness, pain and sadness. And after those posts I received quite a few questions about how do I actually do the feeling in order not to get stuck in them, in order not to wallow in them forever. Because the fact is known that many people spend years with a feeling of loneliness or spend months in drowning in sadness. And there is it's a process. It's a particular process that I apply, that I had to learn as well as an adult, that I'm using today. You know, when we get born as children, we just express our emotions so easily. We get upset, we cry, we get sad, we also cry, we get angry, we scream. And then slowly we learn that it's not appropriate to show emotions in every place, in every moment. But what lacks usually is, as part of upbringing, or at least as part of my upbringing, was the fact that how can I give my emotions space at the appropriate times and in the appropriate spaces. So I've been suppressing my emotions, but never letting actually the energy of emotions move through me at other times when it would be appropriate. And it's in the adulthood we actually have to just come back to conscious recollection of how do we actually do it, to feel the feelings, to acknowledge them, to let them move through us and not get stuck anywhere. Because the stuck feelings, they create blockages, energetic blockages, closure of the heart, closure of the throat, closure of the solar plexus, closure of our sensuality and our zeal for life. And we don't want that. We want to stay open to life. We want to let life move through us in all its frequencies without us really drowning in them. So in the first place, for that we need to be spacious enough to be able to hold all these emotions. And for that, the energy body needs to be enlarged time and again. And this is one of the primary goals actually in Tantra to do, is to work on your energy body so that it gets broader and bigger. And within that spaciousness of the energy body being charged, whatever emotions, being it pleasant or unpleasant emotions coming through us, it's actually pretty much okay. And there is very little identification happening in that space because the spaciousness can hold it. And on the other hand, how do I do the feeling itself? It's actually a bit counterintuitive to how our body reacts to unpleasant feelings, but at the same time, it is somewhat, you will say, of course, this makes sense. I will explain it now, and you will say, oh my god, yeah, sure, this is how it is to be done. It's very simple. So usually when we feel unpleasant feelings, we contract and we start holding the breath, and there's like, we buck and collapse maybe shoulders or even chests, and we stop breathing. Bringing consciousness to an emotion or to a feeling means to consciously take an inhale instead of holding breath. So I locate where I feel the feeling physically. So let's say if there is sadness or loneliness, it could be around the chest, that there are certain sensations. First, I'm present to the sensations physically. I even can name them. For example, I feel some burning, or I feel some hollowness in this area, or I feel my stomach clenching. I feel heaviness in my head or in my neck, or clenched throat. So you become really pleasant to the sensations in your physical body. And then after that, you start taking inhales into these sensations. So how it looks like is like this. And you start feeling into the sensations that are produced by your emotion. And you take for that from 15 minutes to 1 hour. You can really take as much time as you want, but usually I would take a maximum of 1 hour, 1.5 hours to work through a particular feeling. And if it is not worked through in that period, then I will make a pause of a few hours, or I will pick it up again next day, and I will take again 20 minutes to 1.5 hours to do the same. And while I am breathing, and while I am fully allowing to feel what sensations are present in my physical body, I'm giving space to this energy to move in me. And the way it starts moving in me is through a release of emotions. Sometimes tears will come, or sometimes anger will come, and you will want to scream and hit something, or you will feel a huge rage coming up. So when these kind of expressions and releases come up, it's important to allow that through your voice, through your body, through keep breathing. And this is how actually we fully acknowledge the emotion, and we fully allow it to move through us and to give us possibly the message that it holds within it. But it's not always the case. Sometimes it's just really about moving the energy. Why we don't want the emotional energy to be stuck in us? Because, as I said, it blocks us. And if we really look at what makes us humans to avoid doing the things we want to do, doing the things we know we need to do, opening up to a new relationship after a heartbreak, or completing relationships that don't serve us anymore, and so on and so forth. So things that are authentically in our desire, in our longing, but we are not doing it. And usually it's not because of external circumstances. It is because we are not comfortable to feel all the range of emotions and all the range of feelings that life brings with that. Because in all truth, like for example now me recording these videos for the first time, there was something in me like, will I be able to do that? How will others perceive me? Will they understand my message or not? Or will I be judged by someone? So things like that were passing by through my head. And my work was to feel the feeling of being judged. So I went into that feeling like, okay, let's say I am judged. Well, actually, I'm not afraid of being judged. What I am actually afraid or uncomfortable with is to feel the feeling inside of me. Yeah. But if I'm comfortable to feel the feeling of being judged, then why wouldn't I go ahead and just do it? It doesn't matter if others judge me or not, but if I'm comfortable with the feeling, with the uncomfortable feeling of being judged, then why wouldn't I do it? And so I was sitting with that feeling, and amongst other feelings, also the fear, and also the getting out of the comfort zone, and what would it mean for my family and for the whole setup of my life. And sitting with all of these feelings and breathing into them and allowing the expansion to happen, allowing the energy to move instead of holding me. And this is, I feel, is really an important and critical skill, and such a simple skill, bringing consciousness to our emotions, bringing consciousness to our feelings through our body, which allows us to live the life we want and never compromise on the authentic voice that wants to be heard. Thanks a lot for listening and receiving me.